previously we were discussing the very important issue of tahrif al-Quran, the distortion in the Quran. Has there been any distortions in the Holy Quran or no? We examined some sources from Sunni traditions that claim certain verses or chapters were deleted from the Holy Quran. They were lost from the Holy Quran. Then we examined some traditions in Shia sources. Some have claimed that these traditions claim a distortion has happened in the Holy Quran. We examined two examples from the book of Kafi and we addressed them. We said that these are not clear indications that the Quran has been distorted. There are other possible explanations to these hadiths. Let's examine a third example in the book of Kafi. Some have used this to say, look, your book of Kafi claims that changes have been made to the Quran. And that is proof that you Shia believe in the distortion of the Quran and the tahrif of the Quran. There's one hadith in the book of Kafi, Ahmad an Ibn Faddal. Ibn Faddal was one of the companions of Imam Reza alayhi salam. He narrates this hadith from Imam Reza alayhi salam. It's a dependable hadith, meaning the chain is a muwathaq, dependable chain. The narrators are reliable. He was asked about the verse of the cave, the verse of Abu Bakr being with the Prophet. There's one expression in this verse which states that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought down His sakina, His peace and tranquility, alayh, on him. Alayh is a pronoun, on him. Him is a pronoun. The Quran does not say on who, the Prophet or Abu Bakr. Imam Reza alayhi salam was asked about this verse. Imam Reza recited the verse this way: فَأَنزَلَ سَكِينَتَهُ عَلَى رَسُولِهِ, on his messenger. Now the Quran that we have today does not say عَلَى رَسُولِهِ, it says alayhi, on him. The Imam alayhi salam does not use a pronoun in his recitation of the verse. He says on his messenger. So there's a change there. Instead of a pronoun, the Imam actually used the word itself. And that clearly indicates that the Ahlul Bayt believed that Allah sent down the sakina on the Prophet, not on his companion. Some other schools of thought, they claim no, the sakina came down on Abu Bakr because the Prophet doesn't need the sakina, he already has the sakina from God. That's their argument. Even though we refute this claim by citing other verses in the Holy Quran which clearly state that Allah sent His sakina on the messenger himself, on the Prophet himself. So Imam Reza alayhi salam states, فَأَنزَلَ اللَّهُ سَكِينَتَهُ عَلَى رَسُولِهِ, according to this hadith. وَأَيَّدَهُ بِجُنُودٍ لَمْ تَرَوْهَا. Then the Imam alayhi salam states, the companion asks the Imam, قُلْتُ هَكَذَا, is this how the verse is? Al-Imam alayhi salam stated, قَالَ هَكَذَا نَقْرَأُهَا وَهَكَذَا تَنْزِيلُهَا. This is how we read it, and this is how it was revealed. Okay, so this is an example in the book of Kafi that claims changes have happened to the Holy Quran. That the original Quran that was revealed on the Prophet, there was no pronoun involved. The verse clearly stated that Allah sent down His sakina on His messenger. Whereas in the Quran that we have today, the word Rasulih is not there. We just have a pronoun. God sent His tranquility on him. That's all we have. What is our response to that? Is this clear proof that in our book of Kafi there is evidence that distortions did happen according to the view of Ahlul Bayt? First of all, assuming that the hadith, does make that claim clearly, our scholars will reject it. Because we don't believe that the book of Kafi is like Sahih al-Bukhari, how many Sunnis view it. That it's completely authentic, every hadith in there is a genuine Sahih hadith. No. We're not of that opinion. Yes, generally speaking, the book of Kafi is a valid book. Most of its narrations are valid narrations. But if we find one problematic narration that contradicts, Assalamu alaikum, that contradicts other narrations or contradicts the Quran, when God says in the Quran, I will protect the Quran, we will not accept it. So you can never go to a follower of Ahlul Bayt and tell him, look, you believe in tahrif al-Quran and the distortion because you have a hadith in your book. No. Because to begin with, I'm not claiming that every hadith that has made it to our books is a correct hadith. Whereas those who consider Bukhari to be Sahih, yes, you can make that case against them. Here, these are few hadiths which we examined before that clearly indicate certain verses or chapters were dropped from the Quran. And you believe this is a Sahih book. So which one? Do you believe in tahrif or Bukhari is not correct all the time? Choose one. You can't have both. You can't say, no, Bukhari is correct and there is no distortion. You can't. But when it comes to us, the followers of Ahlul Bayt, we're not claiming that Kafi is a completely Sahih book. There are maybe some problematic narrations, and if we find them illogical, if they contradict other hadiths, we won't accept them. That's the first observation here. Secondly, upon examining the wording that the Ahlul Bayt would use, this hadith is still not proof that the Quran has been changed. Even if the Imams, that's how we read it, that's how it was revealed. Why? We have to understand what the meaning of Qira'a meant in Quranic literature. When the companions, when Muslims at that time would use the word أَقْرَأْتُ عَلَيْهِ الْقُرْآنِ, I recited the Quran to him, right? Or قَرَأْتُ عَلَيْهِ الْقُرْآنِ. What did that mean? One common meaning of the word read, recite, is just to read the Quran. Another meaning to the word qira'a at that time was to read with explanation. We have sources in Bukhari that indicate this. That some companions who knew the Quran, they probably even memorized it, but they were not aware of the meanings of the Quran. For example, there's a hadith in Bukhari that talks about the era of Umar ibn al-Khattab. We're talking about many years after the Prophet. And it states that some companions would do the qira'ah of the Quran on other companions. Well, we know for sure that this doesn't mean just recitation because the Quran was widely available. It meant reciting the Quran with its explanation. And that's something common that the Prophet ﷺ would do. Whenever he would recite the verses, he would include the explanation. He would add the commentary, the tafsir, so people know. You know, the Prophet wasn't just reciting verses that are vague, because if you don't know the tafsir of the Quran, a lot of verses are vague. What are they talking about? The Prophet would give the tafsir. This is qira'ah. And when Imam Reza in this hadith states, this is how it was revealed, meaning when Allah revealed it on the Prophet and Jibreel explained it to the Prophet. When Jibreel came to this verse, God sent his sakina on him. Jibreel made it clear to the Prophet. Who's the reference of the pronoun? Ala Rasulih. That's not part of the actual text of the Quran, it's part of the tafsir. And this is, by the way, common in the language of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, when they would say this is how it was revealed. We have another hadith that talks about the verse of Ghadir. Ya ayyuha rasulu balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. O messenger, deliver what you've been commanded by God. The Imam alayhi salam, in two parentheses, he says, fi aliyin, regarding Ali. Then he says, this is how it was revealed. The Imam is not saying this is part of the text of the verse. It means when Jibreel came to the Prophet and he recited this verse, Jibreel made it clear to the Prophet that what you've been commanded to deliver is about Ali. That's part of the explanation and the tafsir. So even this hadith in the book of Kafi about the verse of the cave, it's not proof that we believe in tahrif of the Quran and the distortion of the Quran. And Imam Reza alayhi salam is just telling us what the reference of the pronoun is when Allah revealed the verse. And that's why you don't find that Imam Reza alayhi salam telling his companions, read it this way. If Imam Reza, according to this hadith, believed that the Quran was subject to distortions, and instead of وَأَنزَلَ سَكِينَتَهُ or فَأَنزَلَ اللَّهُ سَكِينَتَهُ عَلَيْهِ, this is wrong, it should be عَلَى رَسُولِهِ, and Imam Reza would have told his companions, look, when you guys read the Quran, read it the correct way. How come he doesn't do that? Okay, you could say if they do that, they'll be in trouble with the other schools of thought. Oh, you're now changing the Quran. At least the Imam could have said, say it privately. When you recite the Quran privately, then you have to recite it the correct way. How come these same companions of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam would not read it according to this hadith, when the Imam is supposedly telling them this is how it was revealed? That it's an indication that the Imam was talking about tafsir and the explanation, not the original text. If the Imam was talking about the original text of the Quran being changed, at least you would have found his companions, they would have read it that way. If right now you see Jibreel or Imam al-Mahdi ajjalallahu ta'ala farajah, and he comes to you and he says, look, that verse that you recite in your common copy of the Quran, it's wrong. This is the actual verse. And you believe 100% that, this is Jibreel or the Imam alayhi salam, no doubts. Okay, after being informed of that, how are you going to read the Quran? Of course, the new way that you've been taught, because now you've been told this is wrong. You're not going to read something wrong after knowing it's wrong. But do you find the companions of Imam Reza alayhi salam doing that? No. They still stuck to the common recitation of the Quran. Which means Imam Reza was not talking about the original text. He was talking about tafsir of the verse. So this is not proof that we believe in tahrif al-Quran in our books. And we have other examples too. These are just 3 common examples.